Hi, welcome to Jadekind Gaming. My name is Adam. Today I'm going to be unboxing the Pathfinder flip tiles. This is the Forest starter set. I've gotten a couple of these. Urban, Dungeon. They're cool. My brain is definitely at this point going back and forth. These are definitely functional. But I've started work on collecting Dwarven Forge, which is much prettier, three-dimensional. It's great. I love it. And they're about to do a Wilderness set on Kickstarter, which of course will take like a year to come out. But during that time, they'll have at least the basic set that was started at the end of the Caverns, so I can get that. But at the same point, the amount of terrain that covers one of these cards costs about the same as the box of these cards. So that's why, thus far, I am still getting these. I will eventually move fully over there, but I'm not there yet. I'm a long way off. So I'm still getting the 2D tiles and such. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at here. Glare. Pathfinder flip tiles, the double-sided terrain tiles, and this is Forest. 42 full-color matte tiles, wet, dry, and permanent markers erased from the tiles. Permanent marker, I think you have to use it. I think it's a dry erase. Look it up, but there's special ways to get that to remove if you were to use it. I just use, like, wet or dry erase, personally. But yeah. So all sorts of stuff. Whatever. We got the tiles here. Open sesame. Open. Hold on. Okay, so I got something to grab on. That was much more difficult than it should have been. But I got it open. Okay. So if you've seen any of these before, you may know. But the box is actually in one direction larger than the tiles, so there's room for these tabs at the top. It's just a bunch of blank sheets fit in the box. If you want to mark on them, again, wet, dry, or permanent erase marker will erase, so maybe that would be where you'd use permanent so that it doesn't erase unless you really want it to. But yeah, so these can be dividers, whether you want to divide this up into, what you need for different encounters, or whether you get some of the expansions to it, because there's room for more tiles to fit in the box. So. Alright. And then O1A flips over to O1B, which seems that B is more just open path. B is just open, A has more of a path. Let's see if we can do something here. Some more paths. Here's sort of where the path opens up. Continue, just path forward through trees, and here's just trees. Okay. It looks like there are things that are going into the trees, but in general it's just a path straight forward there, and here's a corner in an opening with some trees. Path kind of winds, maybe somewhere to ambush or something there. Again, sort of with this thing here where it's at, you basically line them up. And you'd be able to continue up there. Another path. Another straight, basically. And this is what these tend to be, especially the starter sets. It's enough to get you a few basic concepts. So it's going to be paths and openings that have trees on them. This one, is a fork and more open path. Another fork. And here's where the path, goes in. Which, whether that's a big open area or you got, a small opening where it's, here and you close it in just enough for an encounter, you can decide based on your needs. But here's sort of a winding T intersection and just trees. Another T, another corner. And the corners look different. Like this one is more of a rounded corner as opposed to open and out. As do like all these T intersections. So they're given variety even where effectively the, trees for the first 10 feet, 20 feet open, one side open, one side closed. Same thing, but they've had a few different varieties. Same with the paths. Here's just a clump of trees in the middle of an opening. Here is a cross intersection, and open. Okay, here's something interesting. Cross intersection with a pile of stones. What is that? What's that for? Is that just, it could just be like a marker that, is showing, what direction, and things have been marked on the stones. Could be something to investigate. Who knows? Just trees. Another cross intersection. Another corner. The same. Yes, so you have another one of the same. So not all of them are different. You have some repeats. Here's a bend. Another bend that looks like there's more rubble as opposed to the trees in the way there. So bend, opening, bend, corner, bend, corner, another bend, straight path, an actual straight path, so not just, going forward straight, but it's actually going straight forward. One side, straight, this path, see, has a little more variance in it, just a clump of trees. This feels like, a widening path kind of thing. Here's a corner, except there's a little sort of alcove in there to hide in. Another one that's kind of widening, another straight path. Kind of yeah, you can kind of get away with whatever with those. I was like, some of them seem wider than others, but even where this one, where it doesn't seem quite as wide, if you put it up against here like this, your brain kind of closes it off right. It works pretty well. So let's see, more corners, more straight paths, T intersection, another straight path, and in this one, however, you see it goes only 5 feet out. You can get away with putting them next to each other like that. These trees end kind of abruptly, but your brain works with it. My brain works with it, at least. And obviously, all of the tiles can be turned in whatever way to... Because I just noticed that with these that have the single, they've oriented them where when you have the number at the bottom, it's at a different side, which will help you if you do want to separate them out and only use them for those, next to each other. It will help your brain find them if you keep the numbers all in a corner. Which, again, the numbers are useful for reference. Like if you come up with an idea of a map and you're going to lay it out on graph paper. You can just use the reference and then pull them out as you need them. Have them kind of at the ready. Another cross intersection. Another one of these narrow borders. Another straight. Another just open. T intersection with the more open ones. Just filled. T open. Cross. Another corner. Oh, it looks like this ends right here, and this ends at 10 feet and 5 feet, so that'll blend between the two. Oh, I'm seeing beneath stuff. We're getting something a little different here right at the end. We usually do get a few interesting bits. Here's one that goes from the wider path to the narrower path, and another from the corner from the 10 feet to the 5 feet. Here is a river crossing with just some stones to jump across. It has a path going through, and seems to be an opening onto the... See, that one I can't tell which one. I think it's supposed to be at 5 feet. It's definitely 5 feet on this side. I think because of the way they laid it out, you could really get away with either on this side, whether it's 5 or 10 feet. Here is a road. You got this marker here, whatever. Could be marking whatever the path goes to, but here's like a traveled road and entrance into the forest. And this one is definitely an opening at the 5 feet on both ones, and then the wide path option. So, yeah, wide and narrow paths, wide and narrow areas of brush at the end of the edge of the fields. Here we get like a Stonehenge or something, and some sparkling stuff in the middle there. The corner, 10 feet, 5 feet. Makes it all worth it, eh? We get a dungeon entrance. So here's a way to enter into the dungeon. So if you have the dungeon tiles, you go through the wilderness, you find the dungeon, enter there. Wonderful. And another corner here. So, a lot of it is very standard. Like I said, this is the starter set for the forest. It's designed to give you the basic things you need. And they decided the basic things you need are clearings and pathways. And so they have a bit of variety. They have wider paths and narrower paths. And they have sections of clearing that are, have very little border and wider border. But other than that, it's clearings and it's pathways. And then you got those few fancy things right at the end. The river, the road, dungeon entrance, Stonehenge. Yeah, that's, that'll definitely get you started. Obviously, they have expansions to this. There was the dungeon entrance in there. I believe the city walls from the urban one have just basically the clearing texture on the outside, so you can go from city to this with that. I mean, you can blend them to the different sets together. And they're not as immensely fancy as the full flip mats, but the idea behind them is they're more modular. They're more fill up your table with whatever you need. It's a good, effective, affordable way to do that. And for the time being, I'm going to keep getting them because Dwarven Forge is expensive. I'm not sure why this box wants to be so snug on here, though. I'm just going to not close it all the way. But yeah, so I'll link online if you want to pick up the Pathfinder flip tiles. If you use them, if you have, I think there's a Forest Perils or something like that. If you have some of the other sets that go with it and they're particularly good or bad, let me know. Because I know there was one for the dungeon that was unusual things and it was just weird angles and it wasn't quite great. So if you have some that are good or bad that expand on this, let me know in the comments so I can figure out what I'm going to pick up. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff.